Amazon. 32.7 billion in revenue in Q3 2016. The smile in their logo is justified. The size of your slice depends on 1, getting found, then 2, converting the people that find you into buyers. Optimization solves both of these problems. Getting found comes from hardcore keyword research. If your listing has every single relevant keyword, you get the highest number of people to discover and purchase. Most listings lack keyword quality and quantity, so they lose money. Number 2, converting. When people do find you, Amazon has this habit of showing them other products from every possible angle. So if your listing doesn't give them a reason to stay, they leave, which means a financial loss for you. This is the yin-yang of listing optimization. Gritty, hardcore keyword research for robots. That's science. Create great sales copy to convert people. That's art. You need both to win because Amazon's system shows your product to people because of keywords and people buy because of sales copy. So now I'll present the complete anatomy of an Amazon listing and exactly how I make both robots and people happy. You'll have a fully optimized asset that generates income for years to come. How does that sound? Let's get into it. To edit a listing that you're selling, you need an Amazon Seller Central account. So hop to sellercentral.amazon.com and go to Inventory, Manage Inventory, and click Edit next to the listing you'd like to optimize, and you're in. We'll cover the 10 things that make a winning listing. Title, price, photos, bullets, description, search terms, other keywords, category, PPC keywords, and fulfillment method. So let's start with the title. Luckily, Amazon tells you how to optimize the title in the article Optimize Listings for Search and Browse. I'll leave the link right here and in the video description. Let me tell you a story. In the early 2010s, Amazon titles had generous character limits and little regulation. Here, seller, take 500 characters and write whatever you want. Of course, people stuffed titles with keywords for maximum ranking, which logically makes sense, and then stuck their private label meat thermometer in it for good measure. This is a good title for robots, bad for people. It's messy and hard to read. Remember, balance. Yin-yang. So in the late 2010s, Amazon policy began to favor keyword-rich but concise titles with shorter character limits. I find that these days, sellers should keep their titles between 150 and 200 characters. Exact limits vary by category, so you should check that out. But here's an example. And here is my formula for the perfect title. Main keyword, by brand name, hit 3 keywords with high search volume, plus value prop, plus style or quantity if applicable. So it seems like a lot of stuff, but we'll just do it all right now together. So what's your main keyword? Imagine you're in a crowded downtown intersection with your product in your hand, or hands if it's heavy, and you show it to someone and ask, what is this? Assuming they're a regular person, they say, what are you, simple? That's a main keyword. That's how you want to start your listing. The first words are what people search the most. But how do you know what the most used keyword is? You may think you know, but to be sure, go to Google Keyword Planner tool, which gives you monthly search volume on Google searches. So for example, the listing above uses jump rope as its lead keyword. Cool, but what about skipping rope is something that came to mind for me. So how do we know that more people aren't using that? So to make sure, go to the Keyword Planner. If you haven't used it before, you need to create an account. It's cool, I can wait. So the results, jump rope, 1,000 to 100,000 monthlies, skipping rope, same range. When it's a draw like this, lead with the keyword that describes your product more accurately. In this case, this is a sporty rope. It's more jump and less skip, and I agree with their decision. Same story with this one, Bluetooth headphones. You can get keywords from the Google Keyword Planner tool or software like Merchant Words. Google's tool is free and Merchant Words is $30 a month. However, it's important to note that Google gives you search volume for, Google searches, and Merchant Words gives you search volume for Amazon searches. They're two different search engines. For one thing, people Google for information and products, whereas Amazon searches are exclusively for products. For Amazon listing optimization, Merchant Words is stronger data. If at all possible, get the subscription. I have a Merchant Words subscription, so when you buy a listing optimization service from us, you're getting keywords based on both Google and Amazon search volume, not just Google. Okay, next part, by brand name. Some people say, don't waste your character count on your brand name. I think there's some reason to that. We want keyword density and not some brand no one's heard of. However, if you never broadcast your brand name, the brand never gets built. Include the brand name so that customers notice you, they have good experiences, and eventually want to buy exclusively from you. With so many options on Amazon, you must foster loyalty, which begins with awareness. The AIDA model, a classic marketing concept, explains that the path to a purchase, which is an action, starts with awareness, then escalates to interest, desire, then action. This separator thing, I like this. I have no idea what it's called. If you know, do leave a comment. It's achieved by typing shift and then backslash, or you can use a hyphen. I'm not even mad. This chunks your title into parts, making it easier for buyers to read and understand. Now I say hit 3 keywords with high search volume. After this separation, get 3 strong keywords in. Think of it as a Venn diagram, right? You want the keywords with the highest search volume that are also the most descriptive of your product, the most true to your product. And a value prop. This is a crisp encapsulation of how life will be better when the customer buys your product. They'll repeat it to their friends, and their friends should say, wow, that's pretty cool. Great ones get clicks. Here are a few from outside the Amazon FBA world because ultimately this is a business, not just an Amazon business. Dollar Shave Club, they sell razors. A great shave for a few bucks a month. Tortuga backpacks, everything you need without checking a bag. Like on airplanes and stuff. Vimeo, make life worth watching. Weebly, the easiest way to make a website. Debatable. Evernote, remember everything. Desk Beers, craft beer delivered to your office. That's a great idea. And Spotify, soundtrack your life. When writing yours, remember that the simpler the sentence, the more true it sounds to people. It's the same idea behind Occam's razor, which is the original Dollar Shave Club. The idea that the simplest answer is usually correct. Style or quantity if applicable. So, for example, supplements contain a certain count, towels come in sets, creams in ounces. State this technical information at the end if applicable. And lastly, on this subject, a healthy dose of caution. You should, in my opinion, avoid superlatives. So stuff like number 1, best, best-selling. I say this because of a section in Amazon's prohibited seller activities and actions that says, in addition, you may not make claims regarding a product's bestseller rank in the product detail page information, including the title and description, which is open for interpretation, but to me, number 1 claims are ranking claims, and I'd stay away lest the listing get de-indexed or something. Also, this won't lead to being de-indexed, but I would say use proper grammar and spelling, and it should be very easy to read and understand. Also, if the title exceeds your allotted character count, you guessed it, de-indexed. This is real money. And before you finalize the format of your title, Amazon has a guide with recommended formulae for certain product categories. So for example, if you sell bedding, they prescribe this formula. Brand plus line pattern plus thread count plus material plus size plus product type, comma, color. There's no plus. That's interesting. So it would look like that. I'll leave this link in the video description as well. Check it out to see if your category has any particular rules around the title. Number 2, price. In Seller Central, there's your price and also sale price, which is your chance to create a sort of deal feeling. This isn't for everyone. If your product is in a more austere, serious market, perhaps a price slash is most unbecoming. But whatever your slash, make it look believable. So $200 down to $10. What are you, simple? No thanks. $200 down to $175. I mean, that's better. It's a respectable product, and I get $25 off if I buy now. There's a healthy amount of urgency created there. So price slashing is a good incentive in moderation, but make sure the deal doesn't call the value into question or devalue your brand. For example, Apple products don't go on sale, and Udemy courses do go on sale. And how does that make you feel? When you're just starting out, it's better to price the item lower on average. Just think about it. This is a little strategy piece here. As long as it's above break even, right? You're getting more for it than you spent. It's better to make sales at lower margins for the sake of increasing your ranking and getting reviews rather than making no sales at all. So while we're also talking about pricing, consider creating publicly listed coupon codes for modest discounts, say 10 or 15%, to reward buying multiple units. You can control this in the Promotions tab in Seller Central. They'll show up under Special Offers and Product Promotions. This is a sort of a can't hurt, might help tactic. It really makes sense with consumables or giftable items where value increases with quantity. Your title gets you found, but your photos make people click on your listing as opposed to other ones. Amazon sellers currently have 7 visible photos that they can use, which are 7 different chances to sell. So what do you do? Well, here's the magic distribution. There's one main photo of just the product on white, and it fills at least 85% of the frame. Then 3 glamour or detail shots on white. Show off the curves, contours, detail, the texture, stimulate the senses. Because the buyer can't be there in person. It's the next best thing. And then 3 lifestyle or benefit shots. These include photos of people using the product, written benefits, mentions of your guarantees, etc. Some call these hero images because they allow the buyer to look at the photo and project themselves as the hero in the post-purchase fantasy life. Images with other humans convert higher than photos of just product because humans naturally project themselves into the driver's seat of any image. Let me show you some Amazon Prime examples. Silicone wedding rings, Himalayan salty salt lamp, hammocks. You can't help it, right? You look at these photos of these people and you project yourself into their shoes. They're giving and receiving love. They're working hard at their desk. Relatable, anybody? And they're somehow energized and on another level that you can only access with your product. And most important, they're happy, right? And that's what you want. That's what we all want. People don't buy your product. They buy what it does for them. And on a tactical note, there's some interesting stuff going on like composite images to show different use cases and editing photos to include customer reviews. Now we have some technical specs for the photos, and who better to tell you about them than Amazon itself. I have all of the specs in the written version of this walkthrough. I'm not going to list them out here because it's just saying a bunch of numbers and codes and stuff. It's not very interesting. So in terms of photos, how do you actually make it happen? You have 2 options. You hire a professional or you do it yourself. Option 1, the professional. As an entrepreneur, it's better not to spend your time learning how to be a photographer. It takes time from your main objective, which is sales, and someone else is better at it than you already, so outsource. If you send me an email, it's hello@asteroidaim.com. I'll recommend someone tailored to the needs of your product. And get you insider pricing, of course. I think I'll do what I can. And then option 2 is to do it yourself. You could create a DIY light box that properly diffuses white light. We built one of these in the office back in the day. Sometimes it's nice to have full control over the angles and composition of your listing photos. Also, to be perfectly honest, phone photography is improving every second. There are apps like Camera Plus that enhance the natural capabilities of the iPhone's native camera. At this point, phone cameras can do Amazon listings pretty comfortably. Of course, if you'd rather outsource, there's good sense in that. Photography is key to Amazon conversions, so investing in good photos will earn you money in the long run. As with writing the listing itself, spend on quality because it pays itself back in the long run. Number 4, the bullets. We are so close to making that sale. The buyer finds your product on Amazon, okay, based on keywords and your title and the rest of the listing. They click on the listing because of the pristine main photo. They're on the listing and the rest of the photos look good, but they need some convincing. So they start reading your bullets and ask the universal buyer's question. What's the question? Just think about it for a second. The universal buyer question is, what's in it for me? If they value the perceived benefit of your product more than they value their money, the scale tips and they buy it. But how do you convince them that this purchase is worth more than their money? It's pretty simple. You pitch using unstoppable human biological desires. Here's the timeless strategy to sell anything. The Life Force 8 from Drew Whitman's book, Cashvertising. There are, it turns out, 8 biologically programmed desires that everyone has. If you appeal to these in your Amazon bullet points and description, customers will be motivated to buy and they won't necessarily know why. So, no big deal. The following 8 things dictate all of our decisions for life. They are survival, enjoyment of life, and life extension. Number 2, enjoyment of food and beverages. Number 3, freedom of fear, pain, and danger. Number 4, sexual companionship. Number 5, comfortable living conditions. Number 6, to be superior, winning, keeping up with the Joneses. Number 7, care and protection of loved ones. And number 8, good old social approval. I'll give you an example. Perfume and cologne, they're body fragrances. I mean, really? They're magic scented water that you spray on your body for $100 a bottle. That's not necessary for survival. But that doesn't matter because the fragrance industry sells using the Life Force 8. They've bypassed common sense by appealing to biology. The market is worth $28 billion if that's any indication of how well they're doing. So fragrances are not necessarily sold like this. This fresh-smelling cologne comes in a modern 30-milliliter bottle that dispenses a scent other people love. Yes, that's what it physically does, but those are features, not benefits. It doesn't hit you on a biological level. Fragrances are more often than not sold like this. This cologne sends luscious, sexy girls flocking to you. Don't buy it if you can't handle the attention. In just minutes, you'll have other guys wondering what your secret is. In this biologically infused example, we see number 1, the enjoyment of life, which is attention. Number 4, sexual companionship. And number 6, to be superior and winning with the words "your secret." Not sure if you noticed, but this video opened with me wanting to tell you a secret. It also doesn't hurt that there's a promise of fast results in the phrase "in just minutes." That's stupid, you think. I wouldn't write copy like that first example. But yet, 95% of sellers, I just made that stat up, but 95% are writing their Amazon listings with a list of features instead of pressing primal buttons. Let people imagine how much better life will be after they buy from you, deliver on that promise, and you've got them for life. Number 5, the description. The description must be infused with a LifeForce 8 as well, but we've already covered that. So now we're going to talk about something unique to written descriptions, which is formatting. So how do you create high converting product descriptions these days, 2017? You have 2 options. Use text only and format with HTML, hypertext markup language, or use enhanced brand content, or EBC. I'll address the incumbent HTML first and the newer EBC features second. Okay, so HTML is a standardized system for tagging text files to achieve font, color, graphic, and hyperlink effects on World Wide Web pages. Fantastic. A product description with HTML is easier to read versus a block of text. I think you'll agree. HTML can be used in description, but not the bullet points. So just keep that in mind. Here's a short description for a vegetable spiralizer. This niche is notoriously competitive, which calls for optimized listings. I wasn't disappointed. Here's another description, which is also from page 1 of the search vegetable spiralizer. The writing is fine, but it's one block of text because it doesn't use HTML formatting. No bullets, no bold text, no spaces. It's just a block. Now, no one's going to have the patience to read this. No offense to the seller, of course, it looks like a great product. I'm only talking about the listing in terms of the HTML description. We have one description with HTML formatting and one without. Let's take the former example and see what the text would look like when entered in Seller Central. We'll be using the following code: B for bold, /B for stopping the bold text. Same thing with paragraphs. It's P and then /P. And you'd write something like this in Amazon to display the description down in the screenshot above. Of course, if you just look at HTML in a Word document or something, it's ugly. But if you paste this baby into Amazon, watch it emerge as a masterful sales asset. And you'll notice that this listing even ends with a little call to action. Choose the Briefton's 5-blade spiralizer now. Compare that to just choose the Briefton's 5-blade spiralizer, and you'll realize the power of now. That's a little Eckhart Tolle pun for those who are so inclined. Sorry about that. Now, there are 3 power words that can help you sell more units. I'll just put them in here because I encourage you to include them in both the bullets and the description. The word because. Robert Cialdini asserts that when we ask someone to do us a favor, we will be more successful if we provide a reason. People simply like to have reasons for what they do. So this example was, say you're standing in line for the copy machine and you want to cut the line. What do you say to the person who's currently using the machine in order to cut the line? Here's our first attempt. Excuse me, I have 5 pages. May I use the Xerox machine? That had a 60% success rate. Attempt number 2. I have 5 pages. May I use the Xerox machine because I'm in a rush? 94% success rate. See the word because there. You give them a reason and they say, oh, that must be logical because there is a reason, regardless of what the reason is. And even more ridiculous, attempt number 3. Excuse me, I have 5 pages. May I use a Xerox machine because I have to make copies? 93% success rate, even though that's nowhere close to a good reason. Everyone needs to make copies. That's why they're there. It's ridiculous, but highlights the power of the word because. I encourage you to use it. Use the word value instead of price. Value is about advantages. Price is about what the customer loses in the form of money spent. People are programmed to avoid loss more than seek gains. It's a phenomenon called loss aversion. You may have noticed that I began this video by explaining how I was losing money on Amazon and described listings as bleeding cash. So you can definitely sell people on the gains of your product, but you want to address a certain pain points in the form of losses, which triggers this loss aversion response. People really don't want to lose things. And lastly, use the word imagine to allow the buyer to test drive life with your product post-purchase. Even if they haven't decided to buy it yet, it doesn't hurt to imagine the advantages, right? Just imagine it. There's no commitment there. All right, now let's discuss the newer, possibly cooler, Amazon Enhanced Brand Content, EBC. Your other option for the description is to ditch the HTML altogether and add images and text all in a selection of formats. I think we can mostly agree it looks great, objectively better than plain text, so I imagine it does convert better. That said, some reviews of the program indicate that EBC content doesn't index in Amazon's search engine, so you don't currently, as of early 2017, have a ranking benefit from written EBC content included in the same way that HTML text descriptions have, with some accounts indicating a drop in sessions after switching over. But you know what? At the time of recording, EBC is still a relatively new feature, and I suspect that this is a temporary problem, and in the fullness of time, Amazon will index EBC text. I don't see them not doing that. It's still early days, so keep an eye on it. It looks great, and it's promising. Number 6, search terms. In Seller Central, go to your listing, then edit the Keywords tab. You'll see something like this. Each text box has a character limit. Use all the space that you can. It isn't visible to customers, so you can kind of go nuts here. Think of keyword inclusion as a pyramid. At the very top, your lead keyword that you put in your title first. Then the 3 keywords that we hit in the rest of the title. Then the keywords in your bullets and description, which also get indexed. And then we have the search terms. This is a different set. Why have I sort of ranked it in this hierarchy? It's because you don't actually use keywords that you've already included before. So repeat keywords are redundant and don't grant you any extra ranking power as articulated in Amazon in their international smash hit, Optimized Listings for Search and Browse, won the Cannes Film Festival in 2019. It says, also there is no additional benefit in providing keywords except when they contain unique information such as alternate names, abbreviations, etc. that doesn't fit in any other non-keyword field, by which they mean, if you haven't had it in your title, bullets, description, then you should definitely put that here if it's relevant. The most instructive thing to tell you which search terms to include is this chart that Amazon put at the bottom. In the diamond flower example, you shouldn't use those because they're redundant. So this section is for keywords that you haven't used in your title, bullets, or description, but are still relevant and will help more customers find the product. Don't use other brands because they're unrelated to the product itself. If you want to compare, I think you could do so suitably in the product description. Again, with this popcorn and ice cream thing, you want the intersection of high traffic and high relevance. Colors of India versus colors and colors. This is good news because it frees up room to write different keywords instead of worrying about capitalization, plurals, and punctuation. Where I'm from, Canada. We spell it like this, colors. Is that accounted for? I don't know, so I don't know how I'll fall asleep in my igloo tonight without that answer, but we'll see. I'll give it a shot. Lord of the Rings and LOTR, so abbreviations are recommended. Alternate names for the product. Again, just hop into the Google Keyword Planner tool and search keyword ideas to see what else people are looking for. Related subject matter and characters. I'll also add that if you're an insider in the niche in which you're selling, which is of course preferable, then include as many insider terms as you can here, something only hunters, biologists, or Canadians would understand. What do we all have in common? We all have to wrestle a polar bear as a rite of passage. Between Google Keyword Planner Tool, Merchant Words, and other free online tools like keywordtool.io, you should be just fine. If you choose to work with my team, we have Merchant Words, which saves you time spent in research and writing, and also about $30 a month. 7. Other keywords. Once you enter your search terms in the back end, you'll see some other fields. These are particular to your product, and from what I can tell, this is a can't hurt, might help scenario. But honestly, not all tasks are created equal. Considering Pareto's principle, your title, bullets, description, and photos will account for 80% of your results, and stuff like this sort of falls by the wayside. It's not as important. So give those fields all of your most relevant keywords, and if you have keywords that A, have not been used, and B, also apply to the attributes that Amazon's asking for in these additional fields, go for it. Similar to the search terms section, the terms you enter here depend on your product, so there's no set prescription for this. Okay, number 8, category. When editing your listing, head to more details, then find category item type. This allows you to classify your item as you see fit. The key here is accuracy. The category should be true to the product. This affects your sales a lot because shoppers often browse by category. So if you're in a category that's not relevant to you, no sales, right? The easiest way to determine what category to choose is to look at a batch of 15 competitors if there are any, Mr. Blue Ocean strategy, huh? And see how they're categorized. Then check their estimated monthly revenue with a tool like Jungle Scout to see if there's a correlation between where certain listings are categorized and their revenues. So here's an action plan for you. Scenario 1, all your competitors are in the same category and have good revenues. So in that case, I recommend to use the same category. Scenario 2, your competitors are all in the same category and have bad revenues, which begs the question, what are you going to do differently? Scenario 3, if competitors are in various categories, check their monthly revenues to find a correlation between what category they're in and how well they're selling. Scenario 3.1, if you find the category doesn't affect revenue, choose the category that's more accurate for your particular product. 3.2, if the category does affect revenue, choose the category with more revenue. Pretty straightforward. And remember, some Amazon categories require sellers to be ungated in order to sell there. So, of course, don't choose a product category that you're not allowed to sell in. Here's the full list of Amazon's gated categories. The most notable ones include beauty, clothing, and health and personal care. PPC keywords, number 9. Do you run Amazon pay-per-click ads? You should. Aside from allowing you to buy your way to page 1 in about 30 minutes, PPC has a positive side effect, listing optimization. You may not have seen this coming, so just go through your ads, find your keywords that have an ACOS below 25%, and see if you can work them into your listing's title, description, headline, and back-end keywords. Some will integrate really well. So for example, I had a client who sold silicone baking mats, and they were one of the first. I'm just kidding. They're probably number 245 in the silicone baking mat market. Anyway, after running Amazon PPC for about 3 months, they found that the keyword silicone baking pan earned them $4 for every $1 that they spent on ads, which is a 25% ACOS. It wasn't intuitive, because that's a different product than a baking mat. But it turned out that people who were searching for pans bought mats. So they took this winning keyword and put it into a bullet point. I don't quite recall what it said, but it was something like the ease of tinfoil and the reusability of a silicone baking pan. And so they ranked higher for the word silicone baking pan because the keyword was in the listing informed by PPC, and they made an extra around $55 a day on this one change, which is not bad for one change. It's the art of enhancing your listing over time based on fruitful keywords. The more ads you run, the better your listing gets. How beautiful is that? You are most welcome to use this one. And number 10, fulfillment. Use FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, and not FBM, fulfilled by merchant, which means shipping yourself to Amazon customers. Aside from handling your shipping and most customer service, using FBA makes you instantly eligible for Prime 2-day shipping. Plus, there is colloquial evidence to suggest that Amazon favors FBA-fulfilled listings in search results, and why wouldn't they? Amazon increases their revenue that way. So, if at all possible, use FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. Wow, that is it. What a journey. You've made it this far. I feel like we're friends now, and I think you deserve a reward. If you'd like our team to optimize your title, bullets, description, and search terms for you, enter this code on our website and get a discount on your listing optimization service. It's only fair because, you stuck through this whole thing. Work with us, and we'll deliver a powerful, efficient asset that makes recurring income for years to come. We guarantee that you'll be happy with it or your money back. We even do revisions if you need to, so that what we deliver is true to your vision. Let's work together on this. Thanks a lot for watching. My name is Patrick, and I'll see you in the next one.